Everyone, Tommy from Pizarro's Pieces, and I'm back again today with the second video of my toy hunt in America, and this is part 2 in Chicago. Welcome back everyone. Now if you watched the previous video you will know that I'm going to be putting up quite a few videos over the next few weeks, possibly even couple of months, of me where I've just come back from the United States and I literally went on a 2-week toy hunt. So I started in Chicago, I was there for 3 days, and there's quite a lot of toy shops in Chicago. So my last video was where I went into Toy de Jour. And today the next shop I went into was the following day after that, so this was on the Tuesday, and I went over to Rad Vintage. Now Rad Vintage is another shop that I've been following on Instagram for probably about 1.5 years. From the looks of what I'd seen on Instagram, really good shop, loads of clothes, so they specialise in, you know, like basketball jerseys and hockey and American football, like vintage stuff, and even everything from sort of movie t-shirts to wrestling t-shirts to cartoon t-shirts, a lot of it vintage, but they also have a vintage toy section. So I'd seen some videos on YouTube already of Rad Vintage, but obviously from sort of maybe 2 years ago, and he was quite stocked out. The shop was quite stocked out, but when I went there, obviously probably over the period of, you know, the last 2 years, you could see that it's gone quite down. And after speaking with RJ's the owner, he was a great guy. I was sort of sat with him for about 45 minutes. We were talking. I think that it's becoming harder and harder to get stuff at a good price, and I know that because as a dealer in the UK, I struggle to get stuff. It's not the same as it was 2-3 years ago. It's becoming harder and harder. The problem is a lot of people out there think that if it's got, you know, 1984 written on the foot of it, it's worth £1 million. If it's He-Man, it's worth £1 million. If it's Chewbacca, it's worth £2 million. You know, if it's a Visionary, it's worth £500,000. You know, unfortunately the toy market don't work like that, but it's made it very, very difficult for not just dealers but for collectors, because everyone's being outpriced, and it's become a bit of a struggle. But Rad Vintage had quite a good selection of toys. I picked up a few bits, but here's a little clip of me walking around inside, so it gives you an idea of the sort of stuff they had, and then we'll have a look at what I found out there.
Watch this road boy.
So I hope you enjoyed that little clip. As mentioned, I had a long old chat with RJ, the owner. Really good guy. Knew his stuff. You could tell he's sort of been doing it for years. Sort of went from doing it on eBay to eventually opening his own shop. And it's always great talking to these guys because, you know, it gives you an idea of where people have come from, you know, how they got there. Some people, you know, struggled. And even in your own mind, me as a dealer, you know, I'd love to one day open a bricks and mortar shop. But as we know in the UK, and especially in sort of the area that I come from, which is suburbs of London, rent for a unit isn't cheap. So, but it is nice to see that people can fulfill their dreams and, you know, do as successful as Rad Vintage has done. So he looked after me. As you can see in the video, I was walking around, there was some really cool stuff. He had some like NES games and, you know, some Turtles figures, Ghostbusters. But I kind of primarily went to America switched on looking for certain items. One particular line is obviously Gremlins. Now, as you all know, if you've seen previous videos and you follow me on social media, Gremlins is probably my biggest thing that I'm into, and I have collected since the very early 90s, 1990, 91. And I was going over there thinking that, you know, I might run into some rarer items. There was a lot of Gremlins items that perhaps were only released in the UK and in the US and not in the UK. And straight away in Rad Vintage, I found an item. So I asked him what Gremlins items he had. And this is only little, but it's still pretty cool. This is obviously this is a vintage gizmo eraser, or rubber as we would call him in the UK. So there he is, Giz himself. There's no date on it actually, but you can tell it might be dated on here. It comes with like a little backpack box with Gizmo written on the front. So I was well pleased to pick up straight away within a couple of days something that I've never seen a Gremlins eraser or rubber in the UK. That's not to say they weren't released here, but I've been hunting Gremlins stuff for over 2 decades, so you normally stumble across something like this. I paid $5 for this, so I was well happy with that. I also got a couple of Gremlins wax packs off him. I think they were like $2 each. Gremlins 2 wax packs from Tops. I've already got this one, I think, but I didn't have this one, but I thought I'd just get the 2 anyway. RJ had loads of these in regards to different ones. He had like Garbage Pail Kids, I think there was Terminator, and all different ones. I was looking for some He-Man ones, but I didn't manage to find them anywhere in the US, to be honest with you, but never mind. And then he had these, again, Masters of the Universe. Everyone knows it's one of my big things, and everyone knows that I don't really collect the figures. I look for the more unusual items. I've already got a set of 4 stamps that I got a couple of years ago from Toy Snobs on Instagram, and then I got these 2. Now these are pretty mint cards. It looked like they come out of factory box, and he had about 4 of each. So we've got Mossman and Cyclone, and as you can see there, the cards pretty colourful. They cost me $8 each, so that's about £6.50, £7. Good price, so I was happy with them. And then finally, the final item I got was I went to the States with a bit of an open mind with regards to my collection, and you know what I could add, what I could bring back in regards to space. And I got this Tex Hex now from Bravestar. He had 3 of them. All the boxes were a little bit mashed, if that's the word you want to use. So I kind of got the better of the boxes of what was there. This cost me, I think it was $30. So, but I'm unsure what I want to do at the minute. I'm umming and ahhing because the boxes, you can see it's ripped and that. I'm probably gonna open him, but I need a Bravestar, and if you guys already know and you follow me, you know I've got 30/30. I'm not going to start collecting all the Bravestar toys, but I did have some of these as a kid. I had Tex Hex, I had Bravestar, and I love the cartoon. So I am looking for a Bravestar. I didn't manage to pick one up over there. I didn't see any, but I got that for $30. So I was happy with that. Yeah, like I said, the box not the best condition, but generally a boxed Tex Hex can normally go for, you know, 40, 50. I've seen mint ones being sold for 80, 90 pounds in the UK. So that was what I got from Rad Vintage. Like I said, they're on Instagram. He's got a website as well. He ships to the UK, so be sure to check him out, especially if you're into sort of vintage clothing and sports clothing and stuff like that. It was a great shop, great experience, great to talk to him and listen to his story and everything. So that's part 2 of my trip to America and Chicago, and I've got a couple more shops that I went to in Chicago, but I'm going to keep these videos as compact as possible. As you guys know, I don't like to overdo it and turn, you know, 10-minute videos into 25-minute videos, because I know you all switch off, because I kind of switch off after watching a video for sort of 10-15 minutes. So I'm going to make them smaller. So yeah, the next video will be part 3 of me touring, and it'll be Chicago again, and there was some great shops in Chicago, and I will carry on the story of me in the USA. Don't forget guys, if you ain't subscribing, please do. Give the video a like. Find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Pizarro's Pieces. Until part 3, I'll see you then.